Part 96. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 951. Chapter 951 Chaos Arises. When the prefect saw Liu, he was extremely impatient and wanted to have these unruly people arrested. How dare you be so arrogant? Do you want to die? Just want to slap the table. Liu appeared. Seeing that Liu was a scholar and an elegant scholar, the prefect Wang Kaicheng suppressed the fire in his heart. Who are you? Why don't you kneel down when you see this prefect? Official authority still needs to be displayed. Even if the other party is not sure that he is a scholar or something like that. Liu gave a slight salute, which was considered disrespectful. Sir Wang, I am the Tanhu Liu in the second year of Emperor Qinyuan's reign. Why should I kneel down here, my lord? Dare to show off with him. It seems that Wang Kaicheng feels that he will die too slowly. Send it to him yourself. Liu. Liu. Are you Liu? Wang Kaicheng was shocked. He had seen that Liu in the magistrate's prison. The Liu he saw had already been tortured and served. He was already skinny and scarred. How could this Liu, who was so cheerful in front of him, neither humble nor arrogant, but a little, arrogant Liu? You are a bold rebel, come here, arrest Liu. This is a wanted criminal wanted by the court. Wang Kaicheng's mind suddenly changed. Liu was here. Is it hard to believe that the Zhang family army was really the remnant of the Zhang family, as outsiders said? Then will their lives be in danger? I couldn't help but secretly hate Wang Ziyi. The guard was too smart, so no wonder he was the only one allowed to come. Although he sent 500 soldiers to himself, what are these 500 soldiers enough to do? It turns out that people already knew there was some inside story, and this was to send him to the door. Wang Kaicheng already knew what Wang Ziyi was planning. If he, the prefect, came to his door, he would be dealt with by these remnants of the Zhang family. In the name of avenging him as the prefect, people can directly send a large army to wipe out these remnants. At that time, all the military merits and money will belong to one person, and he, the prefect, will become the ladder for others to go straight to the blue sky. Master Wang, you'd better save yourself. You only have one master left to accompany you. The others have been captured by my people long ago. Those who know the current affairs are heroes, so don't make it too difficult for me. I don't want your life, but if you push me into a hurry, I will have no choice but to kill you directly. Liu picked up the tea bowl and took a slow sip. He was resentful of the magistrate, who had no mercy on the various instruments of torture he used. But this was not the best time for him to kill someone. He has to consider Zhang Jiajin and Miss Zhang. Ms. Jiang's purpose is to directly take Yanmen Pass into her hands. If Yanmen Pass is taken into the hands of Jiang's army, they will have a place to compete with others. With a few small villages, this is not a problem that people who want to do big things should consider. He always knew clearly in his mind what was light and what was serious. Otherwise Miss Zhang would not have left all military affairs to him alone. The prefect Wang was so frightened that he said, "Someone is coming, someone is coming." The yard was quiet, no one responded. The 500 soldiers he brought seemed to disappear into thin air, disappearing without a trace in an instant. Don't kill me, don't kill me. If you kill me, you will be fulfilling Wang Xiaobei's wishes. When the time comes, he will personally lead troops to destroy you remnants of the Zhang family army. On the one hand, he will avenge me, and on the other hand, he will take advantage of the opportunity. Receive rewards for winning military exploits. Wang Kaicheng was really frightened and beaten. He didn't want to die. In this case, then the prefect Wang will stay here for a few more days. When we take Yanmen Pass, the prefect Wang will naturally be able to make his mark. Liu left with a loud laugh. Wang Kaicheng looked at his master and wiped the sweat from his forehead. What did Liu say? The master made a grimace. This time he was really dead. He would rather not have heard these words. Li Yu said that when they take Yanmen Pass, they will be able to make their mark. Wang Kaicheng sat down on the ground. Take Yanmen Pass, these people are crazy, they are crazy. Yanmen Pass Garrison General Wang Ziyi is listening to his subordinates' reports. Li Yu actually did it so late and didn't send me to them. The magistrate took him down, but he has a deep grudge with the magistrate. Wang Ziyi has already sent spies to investigate the affairs of Ljia village clearly, including the current soldiers and horses in Ljia village. The Zhang family army, the eldest daughter of the Zhang family, 10,000 soldiers and horses, and those amazing black firearms. Wang Ziyi naturally has his own plans. He didn't mean to be unhappy. It was obvious that Yeliki, a Turkic force with 5,000 strong soldiers and horses, was captured quietly and replaced by 10,000 troops and horses. Although he has hundreds of thousands of garrison troops, he has no right to interfere with the garrison troops without authorization. The few border guard generals below are not idlers. These are all minions of various forces in the imperial court, but they have no ability to instruct others. If he dares to move here, someone will immediately report it to the top. It is impossible to say what happened to Zhang Jiajin, his head has already fallen to the ground. He naturally had bad intentions when he asked Wang Zifu to take the lead. By using Wang Zifu's excuse, he could mobilize troops and take the opportunity to deal with the people in Ljia village, as well as those who had different opinions from him. Just blame it on Zhang Jiajin when the time comes. You can also make meritorious deeds for the master behind him. This is a great achievement. The problem is that Li Yu from Zhang Jiajin seems to be unmoved, which is not right. Li Yu doesn't move, how can he move? Sir, Li Yu hasn't moved at all. Mr. Wang is still detained in Ljia village. There has been no movement at all from the Zhang Jiajin recently. Wang Ziyi had a headache. Let's see, Mr. Wang can't keep showing up. If Zhang Jiajin can still keep calm, then we will help Li Yu and let out the news. Mr. Wang was killed by Zhang Jiajin. I don't believe that no one will do anything. If they don't move, he will let them move. That night, Wang Ziyi was sleeping with his concubine in the 5th room in his arms when he suddenly heard a loud noise. Hurrying to put on his clothes and go out, he saw the light of fire reaching into the sky. What's going on? What's going on? Sir. What's wrong? Our Yanmen Pass garrison rebelled. Someone opened the city gate privately. Now the Zhang family's army has entered the city. Sir, he and the Huawei camp still wanted to fight, but they were directly killed. The loud noise of fire is Master He and his barracks that were destroyed by black fire, causing countless casualties. Now the city is in chaos. Master Wu and Master Lu have surrendered, and Master Qi has run away with his people. Wang Ziyi was simply annoyed. None of these grandsons could handle anything they encountered. This is fine, it suits his thoughts. These people are now in disarray. Their intention was achieved, but they didn't expect that Zhang Jiajin took advantage. Let's go see Li Yu. Wang Ziyi is confident that Li Yu must be behind all this. As long as he leads his troops to surrender, he should be able to get an official position because of his close relationship with Li Yu. Then. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 952. Chapter 952 Alliance. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the Yanmenguan magistrate's yamen. Wang Kaicheng is now like a bitch. Following Zhang Xiaoxiao, he was afraid that he would be killed by the sword if he was not careful. Now the city is in chaos, and he is in panic all day long, like a lost dog. He really didn't expect that the Yanmen Pass defenders would fall apart so easily. These Zhang Jiajin have really worked hard. With internal help, Yanmen Pass was captured without spending a single soldier. Now all the little thoughts that Wang Cai had have disappeared. because he witnessed with his own eyes how Zhang Ziren dealt with the soldiers who resisted. It was a battle with great disparity in strength. The two black lumps were able to solve the high city wall, and half of the wall collapsed. The remaining soldiers and horses hardly expended any effort. After rushing in, they fought hand to hand and defeated the opponent like a mountain in just a stick of incense. Zhang Zijiang's army is uniform, in step, with strict discipline, and strength is paramount. It's really overwhelming. He just planned to follow Zhang Xiaoxiao to survive, and didn't even think about getting promoted to an official position. It's good to be alive now. Zhang Xiaoxiao here, the Zhang family's army is stationed at Yanmen Pass. They have subdued 150,000 garrison troops, scattered them and reorganized them into her team. Li Yu and Zhang Xiaoxiao saw the dozen or so officers who had returned with their people. They are all old men from Zhangjiajin. Now seeing Zhang Xiaoxiao, they all have tears in their eyes. I wish I could kneel down and kowtow to Zhang Xiaoxiao. How could Zhang Xiaoxiao let others kowtow? These are all subordinates from the future, and the handover of Yanmenguan was not a waste at all. Zhangjiajin gained a firm foothold. Because of this great victory of the Zhangjiajin, their reputation became even greater. There are countless rebels and talented people from all over the country. After all, Zhangjiajin's reputation lies there. Zhang Xiaoxiao originally thought that a head-on conflict with the Red Flame Army would take some time. Unexpectedly, just after Yanmen Pass passed smoothly and I could take a breather, the messenger of the Red Flame Army came here. In a word, General Hu Yanqing of the Red Flame Army invited young Master Zhang of the Zhang family army to break the alliance and deal with the Imperial Army's pressure on the border. After reading the letter, Li Yu said, "Young Master, I can't go. I'm afraid Hu Yanqing is hosting a hungmen banquet. Zhang Xiaoxiao is now the backbone of their Zhang family army. In addition, their military morale has been stable this year and there is sufficient food and grass in the rear. Unexpectedly, the harvest in the field was the highest in several years, especially the new seeds that Mr. Zhang promoted to them. Those things called corn and potatoes are so productive. The yield per mu can be several thousand caddies, and the good ones can even produce tens of thousands of caddies. The people in the village are going crazy. This was something that had never happened before. Everyone wanted to burn incense and kneel down to Zhang Xiaoxiao. In their minds, Zhang Xiaoxiao is the who protects them. I go. Zhang Xiaoxiao categorically agreed. She had been looking for an opportunity. How could she get close to the red flame spear? This was not a God-given opportunity. Li Yu was shocked. Sir, you have a high status, how can you put yourself in danger? Even if you want to go, you will go down. How can you let the master go? Of course Li Yu knew that Mr. Zhang was their flag. If Zhang Xiaoxiao did not fall, the Zhang family army would never fall. Don't worry, I will go no matter what. The Zhang family army has become a climate now, and as long as you continue to train according to my training methods, nothing will happen. You need food and grass, you need food and grass, you need soldiers and horses, you have soldiers, horses, and the black fire I left behind, what are you afraid of? Zhang Xiaoxiao finally seized this God-given opportunity and wanted to see the red flame spear no matter what. As long as you can see the red flame spear, you might be able to go back directly. No matter how hard Li Yu tried, he couldn't persuade Zhang Xiaoxiao to change his mind, so he had no choice but to do so. He did his best to help Zhang Xiaoxiao prepare the troops for the banquet, and sent 50,000 troops to directly Zhang Xiaoxiao to the Red Flame Army for the banquet. Zhang Xiaoxiao really came alone. Even Li Shiniu and Linda Wang wanted to her, but she refused. She didn't take any soldiers with her, so she rode a horse, dressed in white, and walked straight to the Xi'an military camp slowly. Hu Yanqing couldn't believe it when he heard that young Master Zhang from the Zhang family army came to the banquet alone. Of course, his original intention was to form an alliance sincerely, because the imperial court was now vigorously encircling and suppressing these rebels who held high the flag of righteousness, and she and the imperial court had been fighting for many years. Although the imperial court was mediocre and the officials were corrupt, the soldiers and horses of the imperial court and myself worked hard with real swords and guns. Continue like this. One day it will be dragged down. And now the one who can match his strength is the newly rising Zhang Jiajin of Yanmen Pass. I heard that Mr. Zhang had a grudge against the imperial court, and the tragedy of the Zhang family being wiped out was brought out. Legends say that Mr. Zhang now wants to take revenge, overthrow the imperial court and become emperor. Of course, what is more powerful is that Mr. Zhang, a member of the Zhang family army, has the ability to summon thunder from the sky. It is said that he can call the wind and rain, attract thunder and fire, and directly destroy the enemy army. What was preached was vivid and miraculous, which Hu Yanqing believed. He has a red flame spear in his hand. This red flame spear is indeed very magical, almost invincible. He has the ability to destroy heaven and earth with heavenly fire, but he knows that this is the power of the red flame spear. It is not certain that Mr. Zhang from Zhang Jiajin also has such a miraculous ability. He really wants to form an alliance with the Zhang family army now. It would be easy for the two families to join forces to deal with the imperial court. Of course, how to divide the world equally after forming an alliance is another matter. At least they are now united in dealing with the outside world, which can also reduce the pressure. With the cooperation of the Zhang family's army, I believe that their Red Flame army can sweep away the remaining clouds and defeat the remaining defeated generals of the imperial court. He could also break the current situation. He thought that the other party might bring a large army to suppress the situation. After all, everyone is afraid of the other party taking advantage of others. However, I never expected that young Master Zhang of the Zhang family army would be so bold and dare to come alone, even though he brought 50,000 soldiers and horses to sit opposite the camp of his Red Flame army. If someone comes alone, aren't you afraid that he will chop him down? At this time, I couldn't help but admire Mr. Zhang. The military camp was opened wide, and hundreds of cavalry went out to greet him. Hu Yanqing is also polite to Corporal Xian. After all, both of them are leaders of the highest level. If they don't give each other face when they meet at this time, then this alliance will be empty talk. There are capable people behind Hu Yanqing to advise him. After assessing the situation, the best way is for both parties to put down their airs and have a good talk. Maybe the best alliance can win the great rivers and mountains in the world. Hu Yanqing personally rode out to meet Zhang Xiaoxiao. Especially when he saw Mr. Zhang, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He is a handsome young man, wearing a mask and cloak, riding a white horse and dressed in white. Looks like he has a bit of a temperament. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 953. Chapter 953 Alliance. Mr. Zhang, I have long admired your great name. Zhang Xiaoxiao saw Hu Yanqing at a glance. This man's face was as black as iron, as strong as a hill, and his body was burly. What was especially unforgettable was that his eyes were as big as copper bells. It's really a strange appearance. General Huan, I have admired you for a long time. Both parties greet each other. Hu Yanqing welcomed Zhang Xiaoxiao into the camp. The large tent of the Chinese army. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Hu Yanqing sat down. The other generals did not accompany them. It was mainly Mr. Zhang from the Zhang family army who came alone. If they were watching, they would be suspected of bullying others. In order to create a fully harmonious and good atmosphere, everyone else withdrew. Only Hu Yanqing and Zhang Xiaoxiao were left sitting opposite each other in the big tent. Little General Zhang, It's really refreshing to see you here. I really didn't expect that little General Zhang could have such grace at such a young age. He has the style of old General Zhang, but it's strange. I have been listening to Zhang Ji's old disciples all over the world. The Zhang family was brutally wiped out. The entire Zhang family was almost wiped out. I have never heard of such an old master from the Zhang family living outside. I don't know if it's because I'm ignorant or because General Zhang has some secrets about his life. Hu Yanqing went straight to the topic as soon as he came up. It seemed that it was true and he wanted to expose Jiang's little background. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled. General Huan, since you asked, our two families also intend to form an alliance. Naturally, I will not hide my life experience from General Huan. I am indeed a member of the Zhang family, but the Zhang family does not have me. A young man of such age. All the young masters of the Zhang family who were the same age as me were slaughtered by the imperial court. I am Zhang Suimei, the wanted criminal from the Zhang family who the court wants to skin and cramp. Haha. I didn't expect it to be a young lady from the Zhang family who disguised herself as a man to avenge her father. It's really admirable. Hu Yanqing's eyes lit up immediately. It would be even better if she could be a young lady from the Zhang family. He spent his whole life in the military, with the world in mind. For him, ambition is the world. During the confrontation with the imperial court, he imagined various endings. Of course, he also imagined that the situation would open up after joining forces with the Zhang family and he would gain the world. But since he has joined forces with the Zhang family, there will inevitably be a day when they become enemies in the future. Every man is bound to have ambitions and want to conquer the world, and the Zhang family is no exception. What's more, the Zhang family has a deeper background than him. It is almost the Zhang family that rises up and responds to every call. Mr. Zhang Ji once had disciples all over the world. If one day, this young General Zhang conquers the world, I am afraid that their disciples will immediately return to the court and work with the whole country to stabilize the world. But what he said is that just trying to recover these people is a big problem. Thought about countless ways to form an alliance, but when he heard that the young Master Zhang in front of him was actually Zhang Suimei, his heart immediately moved. It's almost as if God is on his side. General Huan, there is no need to say these polite words. I have no choice but to take risks. If I don't want to die, I can only rise up. General Huan is different from me. General Huan, he has the world in mind. I am just a small person. Women. All they can see is revenge for their families. Zhang Xiaoxiao naturally knew that the moment General Huan in front of him revealed his identity, his eyes were as hot as if he was a rare commodity. How could he not know what the General Huan in front of him had planned? It's just that Zhang Xiaoxiao is born as a girl, so I'm afraid she doesn't have the ability to compete with him in the Central Plains, but it doesn't matter. How does the other party think of her? At least she has relaxed her vigilance. Zhang Xiaoxiao is willing to expose her daughter's identity just to let the other party know that she has absolutely no ability to dominate the world. After all, in this era, men are the kings who dominate the era, and the status of women has not improved to that level at all. She was not interested in drinking, she only cared about Hu Yanqing's red flame spear. Miss Zhang Suimei Zhang. I am really disrespectful. I really admire Miss Zhang for being able to avenge her father, planning for so long, and achieving today's situation. This is definitely what I said from the bottom of my heart, and there is absolutely no falsehood. I once said I have also admired Mr. Zhang Ji for a long time. Who would have thought that he would be framed by the imperial court? Miss Zhang is the real queen of Zhongliang. Hu Yanqing's whole demeanor changed. Suddenly, just now, he wanted to show off his dominance and overwhelm the opponent in terms of momentum. But the moment he heard Zhang Xiaoxiao's true identity, his whole demeanor changed. Immediately become soft and generous. It is simply a 180-degree turn. General Huan, my grandfather, father, my brother, sister, uncles, and uncles, all died at the hands of the imperial court. My only thought is to avenge them. I hope to join forces with General Huan. After this is accomplished, the world belongs to General Huan. A weak woman in the future, as long as the great revenge is avenged, she just wants to spend the rest of her life in peace and has no other thoughts. Zhang Xiaoxiu's words surprised Hu Yanqing even more. It also made him admire the woman in front of him even more. She made a bold move and put all the old cards in front of him. This trump card was enough to make people's hearts flutter. This woman's resourcefulness is really admirable, and it was clearly pointed out directly. If you win the world will be given to you, but others will only avenge you. Judging from her status, it is enough to win people's trust. How could a woman win the world? How could the world allow a woman to sit in that position? Since all the interests of others are in front of you, I just need to tell you clearly. I just want revenge. As long as you help me avenge it, I will help you win this world. This is the true alliance of powerful forces. Miss Zhang, this is wrong. Mr. Zhang Ji was once the senior I admired the most. It is my lifelong wish to avenge the Zhang family and all people with lofty ideals in the world. Zhongliang cannot die unjustly like this. At this time, Hu Yanqing was simply resurrected on the spot with full health, and he could throw out anything that was nice to him. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled slightly, having been laying the groundwork for so long. Finally, it's time to get straight to the point. General Huan, if this is the case, then we have made an agreement. The Huan family and the Zhang family have formed an alliance to control the world. The little girl only wants revenge, and the world will definitely be handed over to General Huan. We will make an alliance with our blood, and we will be together. Words are settled. It's a promise. If you violate this oath, you will be punished by God. Hu Yanqing is now only afraid that Zhang Xiaoxiao will not form an alliance with him. After all, anyone who wants to know Zhang Xiaoxiao's identity will probably pounce on her like flies smelling blood. Miss Jiang's appeal is unquestionable, not to mention that once people know Zhang Xiaoxiao's identity, I am afraid that all the capable people in the world will come out one after another. After all, holding the banner of Miss Zhang is the teacher of justice. In addition, it is absolutely impossible for Miss Zhang to win the world. Whoever helps Miss Zhang win the world will be the master of the world in the future. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 954. Chapter 954 Finale. General Huan, I have always heard that General Huan defeated the three armies with a red flame spear in his hand. I wonder if I can let the little girl see General Huan's red flame spear. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled calmly, as if he was speaking calmly. Only she knew that her heart was pounding like she had kicked a rabbit. Ms. Zhang, what's so difficult about this? Hu Yanqing is absolutely blown away. Since he knew that this person in front of him was Miss Zhang, he had already been in a state of disbelief. Zhang Jiajin has an army of 150,000, plus the 150,000 troops in his hands. This is an army of 300,000. For the imperial court, it was rich and abundant. The world seems to be at your fingertips in an instant, and you can win it. Miss Zhang is just a woman, so what? This world must belong to him. If he marries Miss Zhang back to his family at that time, even if he promises her the position of queen, in the future, the Zhang family army will be in his pocket. It is simply a gift of both talents. When I think about this kind of good thing, I feel a little ecstatic, as if I already have the world in my hands. Not to mention that Miss Zhang just wants to see his red flame spear. Even if she wants his red flame army, he will give it to her without saying a word. What kind of trouble can a woman create? If you let her have some trouble now and give her some sweetness, then he will get more later. Come here, give me a gun. Zhang Xiaoxiao's eyes flashed. He was finally here. I saw the tent being lifted up, and 8 soldiers carrying a gun came in. The moment the gun entered the tent, an intimidating momentum surged toward Zhang Xiaoxiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao could feel number 9 jumping around in her mind. The ring on her finger seemed to turn into a red-hot iron in an instant, and it was so hot that she could hardly hold her finger. Why are you chasing your thief woman again? Why do you insist on chasing me to heaven and earth? With a loud shout, the black and shining red flame gun in front of him suddenly turned into a wisp of black light and fled quickly. If you don't come back with me today on the 10th, you will never escape from this world. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt his heart heat up and flew out. The moment he rushed out of the big tent, Zhang Xiaoxiao saw 2 rays of light colliding together, a white cold light and a red flame-like light. Then I saw the white cold light visible to the naked eye and the red light quickly merging. At first, the red light was busy struggling to break free, and it seemed that it would be able to break free soon. Then it's about being wrapped and fused. Gradually melt. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt his body light up. The whole person flew out. Hu Yanking's angry roar came. Zhang Suimei, how dare you bully me? Then Zhang Xiaoxiao opened his eyes and found that he was in the laboratory of the hospital. This is her separate laboratory. Number 9. She was a little unsure about what happened to number 9. Because number 9 always said that he would disappear, and after spending so long together, Zhang Xiaoxiao couldn't bear to leave number 9. With a snap sound, a green meteorite fell from the sky. Appeared in front of Zhang Xiaoxiao. Number 9, number 10. Zhang Xiaoxiao picked up the meteorite carefully, but no one answered her. No response. Zhang Xiaoxiao could only grit his teeth and put the meteorite into the space. Who knows if this means that number 9 has successfully conquered number 10, or something else. She drove quickly to the hospital. The best answer to verify is how is Song Moding doing now? Zhang Xiaoxiao appeared in the corridor of the hospital and saw doctors and nurses coming in and out. Doctor, what's wrong? I am a family member of a patient in bed 16. Zhang Xiaoxiao hurriedly grabbed a doctor. Dr. Zhang, Song Moding is awake. Zhang Xiaoxiao rushed in, regardless of the fact that there were still doctors and nurses checking, and threw himself in front of Song Moding. He squatted beside the bed cautiously. Mo Teng. Lao Song. Song Moding sat on the bedside and froze. He raised his head and looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao. His facial features had become thin and three-dimensional due to being in bed for a long time. Because of his thinness, his cheekbones were prominent, but his eyes were still the same, gentle, soft, deep, and affectionate. His eyes were shining brightly on Zhang Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao, I'm back, Xiaoxiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao said nothing. Pounced forward, holding his face firmly with her hands, staring into Song Moding's cold and dark eyes. Her heart was beating so fast that it was almost hard for her to breathe. Welcome home. Song Moding's sudden awakening made her dizzy with joy, but it also increased her mental pressure. She has had enough of this. Zhang Xiaoxiao closed his eyes and his vision went dark. There were chaotic exclamations in her ears, but she fell into a deep dream. Woke up again, Zhang Xiaoxiao saw a bunch of people around him. The 3 daughters looked at her nervously. The first moment she woke up, Song Zian breathed a sigh of relief. She has carefully investigated and found that Zhang Xiaoxiao is actually fine. It's just that a person's nerves are too tense and suddenly loosened. This kind of disease will occur like a mountain. Mom, are you awake? How do you feel now? The 3 daughters were very nervous. Their father had been in a coma for several years. This time their mother fainted. They were really scared that her mother would do it again. This kind of home does not feel like home, and it is really difficult for them to accept it. Mom is fine, I'm fine. It feels like I haven't seen the 3 of them for a long time. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt guilty. She owed her children a love. Okay, Mom is awake now, you can go down and have a good meal and go back to do your homework, I'm going to check on you later. Songmoding walked in and sent the children out softly. She looked at him, and all the love in the world shone in her eyes. Xiao Xiao, you should hate me, he said sadly. The whole burden falls on you alone, I didn't expect this. No, don't say that, you were hurt, you just wanted to protect the children, no one can predict the outcome, I understand. Zhang Xiaoxiao hugged her husband and leaned into his arms. Now she seemed to be newlywed again. Songmoding looked down at Zhang Xiaoxiao, looking at her with a tender expression that made Zhang Xiaoxiao's heart break. He touched Jiang's small cheek very gently with his fingers. Looking cautiously. It seemed that he was afraid of breaking Zhang Xiaoxiao. You are more than I deserve in this world, I never knew if I would get a second chance to have you here. No, it's not a second chance, it's a second miracle. He has been living in that world like a zombie until this love breathed life into him again. In the past, he always carried the pain of losing his loved one, but now he can live meaningfully again. He can smile again and look at the passing of seasons calmly. He gets to watch his children grow, enjoy his wife's laughter, her innocence and enthusiasm, and wholeheartedly love every miracle in his life. He leaned forward and kissed Zhang Xiaoxiao carefully, with love and passion. He wants her to know how much he loves her. She was a miracle to him, a miracle that brought him back into the light of day. Thank you all for following up till now, I really appreciate it. The author's ability is limited, and perhaps his writing cannot meet everyone's expectations. The author tried his best. Thank you all, thank you to the book friends who have been with me until now, thank you. Happy holidays, it's time to celebrate. Haha. Very happy. End of this chapter.